जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजन जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा जय सुंदर राधे। जय राधा जय सुंदर राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय सचिनंदन गौर हरे जय सचिनंदन गौर हरे गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बिहारी गौर हरि हरि बिहारी गौर हरि मायापुर चंद्रा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौरांगो जय गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल देवों विष्णुपाद प्रमंत प्रभुराज का चरस्तोत्र श्रीमती द्रव्यसी भक्त वेदांत संशोपाद की जाए देवों विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभुराज का चरस्तोत्र श्रीमती द्रव्यसी भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती प्रभुस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाए आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाए नमाचार्य श्रीदास ठाकुर की जाए प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जाए श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगामयी यमुनामाई की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल Hallelujah, Assembly Lord is Hare Krishna. Hallelujah, Assembly Lord is Hare Krishna. Hallelujah, Assembly Lord is Hare Krishna. Hallelujah, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. Candidates of Gita summarized. Let me share. Verse number 15. Chapter 2, verse number 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Okay, reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 15. Let me mute the line. Okay. Yam hina vyatayanti te purusham purushashrava samadukka sukham dhiram so amrutatvaya kalpate. Yam hina vyatayanti te purusham purushashrava samadukka sukham dhiram so amrutatvaya kalpate. Yam hina vyatayanti te purusham purushashrava समदुःखा सुखं धीरं सोऽमृतत्वाय कल्पते यं हीनागतयन्ति ये ते पुरुषं पुरुषार्षभा समदुःखा सुखं धीरं सोऽमृतत्वाय कल्पते. Word to word translation. Yam, one to whom he certainly, na never, vyatayanti, are distressing, yete, all these, purusham, to a person, purusha rushava, O best among men, sama, unaltered, dukkha, in distress, sukham, and happiness, dhiram, patient, sa, he, amrutatvaya, for liberation, kalpate, is considered eligible. Translation with Jnana Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Jai. O best among men, Arjuna. O the best among men. Prabhupada, I think in one of the lectures, it should be O the best among men. Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. O the best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Verse number 16. Reading from chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, verse number 16. Contents of Gita summary, verse number 16. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na abhavo vidyate satah. Vubayorapi drusto anta stu anayo tattvadarshibhi. 2.16. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na abhavo vidyate satah. Vubayorapi drusto anta tu anayo tattvadarshibhi. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na abhavo vidyate satah. Vubayorapi drusto anta tu anayo tattvadarshibhi. Word to word translation. Na, never. Asataha, of the non-existent. Vidyate, there is. Bhava, endurance. Na, never. Abhava, changing quality. Vidyate, there is. Sataha, of the eternal. Ubayo, of the two. Api, verily. Drushta, observed. Antaha, conclusion. Tu, indeed. Anayo, of them. Tattva, of the truth. Darshivi, by the seers. Translation by Jnana Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Jai. Those who are the seers of the truth, they have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of the both. Please repeat. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of the both. And try to understand these two verses. Okay. So here, before discussing, let's draw the mercy from the Acharya. Om Adhanadrinandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangham Nagayate Girim Yat Krupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Devatarinam Paramanandamadavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय. Prabhupada Vijay, Gaur Bhaktavan Vijay. Thank you for joining. So, we are discussing contents of Gita Samraya, second chapter, which is divided into multiple sections. Of the first chapter, glimpse of the material nature is being given. Various divisions of material, the various qualities of the material nature has been described in terms of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra's character, and various other qualities we discuss, the leadership qualities and what are the things, and also the questions of Arjuna or doubts. He doesn't want to fight and he's giving the compassion, enjoyment, and then destruction of dynasties, simple activity, and community projects getting started, unwanted population, and then finally he couldn't decide what to do, whether to fight or not fight. Then with inaction, and the sixth reason he has given in the second chapter beginning. Then he sat down on the chariot. Obviously, first chapter it's at the end, we see Arjuna couldn't do anything further. His mind depressed and completely, senses, body, everything stopped, completely froze. He sat down. Then he started crying. So then Krishna, seeing the condition, then immediately chastised or instigated Arjuna as a friend to bring him up to speed, giving the weakness of the heart, seeing the weakness of the heart. Then still Arjuna giving the various reasons, you didn't kill your spiritual master Sandeepani Muni, so why are you asking me to kill my Dronacharya gurus, Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama? So, but still further he couldn't decide what to do. Then he said, inaction, I cannot decide, so please, I want to surrender unto your lotus feet, please accept me, and I have a weakness in my heart, Karpanya dosha upata soba, please remove this weakness and instruct me in the permanent happiness, instruct me which is going to give me permanent benefit, not temporary benefit, not today, tomorrow, but eternal benefit. So then we surrendered at 2.7. Then we understood the weakness of the heart. That is the first and foremost. That is the first step in God realization. Atato Brahmajim, that means one must have inquisitiveness, inquiry about the absolute truth. Then he is coming to this process of surrender. There is a pre-qualification which requires at least the weakness of the heart is interpreted as described as by Bhaktivinoda Thakur because of the offenses, because of the asat prashna, unwanted desires, and then also Hridaya Daurbalyam, also Tattva Vibhrama, that means identification of the soul, identification of the misidentification of the soul, and misidentification of the misidentification of who we are, and misidentification of our relationship with the Supreme Lord. So that is all coming at Tattva Vibhrama. Then Hridaya Daurbalyam has which is Tuchcha Sakti, that means we are too much attached to small petty things, very basic small things, but we are attached to, whether it could be cell phone, whether biting the nails, or we can list so many number of things. We're all attached to. This is called Tuchcha Sakti, and then Kutinati, criticizing or looking at fault, looking at negatively always. And then you have also the personal aggrandizement, looking for the puja and pratishtha. So in this way, this is called Hridaya Daurbalyam, the weakness in the heart. So Arjuna could understand that all these weaknesses are there, so immediately he surrendered. That is the only way he could understand, he can progress further. Only somebody who can correct him, who can instruct him, who can guide him to transform his current condition to the better state, to the transcend his current condition to the spiritual state. So that is what is, that's why he surrendered. That is the first step. So then Krishna started giving instruction from 2.11 onwards, 11, 12, 13, 14, where Krishna, basically this is called Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga, from 11 verse to 30th verse. That means he is giving the differentiation between the body and soul in different ways. He is explaining in so many different ways, almost 30 verses. Then further 30th to 40th we see that he is going about the karma, about the duty of a living entity. Then he is going further from 40 to 53 about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, you should perform duty but without attached to results. You are performing for me. without desiring results, without getting attached to the actual results. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then 53 to 72, Sthita Prajna. Arjuna is asking the question about the Sthita Prajna, qualities of the Sthita Prajna or Samadhi. So that is the last one. So we are in the middle section or second section. Pre-qualification is 2.1 to 2.6 is pre-qualification, 2.7 itself is one section completely. Surrendering, what does it mean? What are the weaknesses? When we can come to it, how we will come to it? That's all in 2.2 section. We are in the section 3, which is Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga. So we are in verse number. So in the beginning sections, we understood Krishna is telling you must tolerate matras prasasta kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkha agama payana nityasthitam titiksha varta. That means whether it's happiness or distress, you should tolerate like the summer and winter. Today is cold, 30 degrees, it's going to be freezing temperatures. They already sent mails. Please watch out. So this is common, especially those who are in New Jersey Eastern State. It's bound to happen. So, but still we do our normal things as usual. Nothing gets stopped. So you must tolerate. You must learn to tolerate. That's what here. In Arjuna's context, you are sitting on the battlefield. You are standing on the battlefield. What can you expect? What else are you going to expect? You are supposed to fight. You are obviously here in this case. You have your own kinsman. So that's why, but still, when it comes to duty, they Sauryam, Tejo, Chapalayam, Saurya Karma, Kshatriya, Karma Swabhavayam. You are supposed to act with the power and strength and determination. You shouldn't be running away from the battlefield. You should perform your duty and you should tolerate all the difficulties and whoever, even powerful person is there on the opposite. You should be tolerate the difficulties and perform your duty. And this is what Krishna is explaining in the Matras Prasasta Kaunteya. So now Krishna is coming to the point of Yam Hina Vyatayanti Ete. Same thing. One who is, even in the previous verse also, Devas Tatra Namuhyati. Dehe Mosvineta Dehe Komar. Just like the body is changing from boyhood, youthhood to old age, adulthood and old age, and finally passing away from this body and entering and taking up another body. So the sober person, the learned person will not be bewildered by such change. He rather tolerates these changes. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that you have to tolerate because this Bhishma and Drona, they are already old. No matter, and then he is already told, in the past they were there, you were also there, you don't remember, they don't remember, and all of the kings are also there in the past. Even now they are there in front of you. Even in the future also they will be there. Because just like I have explained this knowledge before to Vivaswan, Imam Vivaswate Yogam Praktavan Aham Avyam. So I have explained this to Ikshvaku, Vivaswan, Manu, and then Manu told Ikshvaku to further it came down. So this knowledge I have spoken. At that time you were also there, but you don't remember. I have spoken this. This is many millions of years ago. So that's why this is past, present, future. This is all relative in this material world. Time is there. Time factor comes into picture in the material world. So you shouldn't be worried. The Bhishma and Drona, anyway, they are going to get nice body. And now they are anyway getting old. So you shouldn't be, if you are a sober person, you should tolerate this. And you should perform your duty. In this way, Krishna will explain. Now further, Krishna is going further at one step. A very important point Krishna is making. Yam hina gatayanti ete purusham purusharshav samadukka sukham dhiram amrutatvaya kalpate. So if you want to come to the liberated stage, amrutatvaya means liberated stage, you must tolerate distressing condition will be there. Samadukkam sukham dhiram. The one who is a sober person and you are the best among the men. Is further instigating Arjuna. Best among the men. Vrishabha means best. Out of all the living entities, you are the best. That's why he is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He is not speaking Arjuna. Krishna is speaking to only Arjuna, not anybody else. So now we have to understand this. How do we come to this liberated stage? So if you want to get liberated from all the material disease, material conditioning, then you must tolerate this distressing condition, whether on the battlefield or wherever. whatever job we are conducting. As Prabhupada is quoting sannyas. Sannyas is the most painstaking situation, but still they tolerate because they don't know where they are going to stay. They don't know whether they will get food or not. They don't know anything. What is going to happen because they don't have any. They don't have a bank balance. They don't have anything. There is no personal belonging. Only personal belonging is their kopin and kamandalu and their stick. That's about it. They don't have any other belongings other than 2, 3 probably dress. Sometimes only one dress. So in that, so that is completely renounced, and they cannot. So that means they are fully dependent on Supreme Lord. They must tolerate. They are that is the highest one. But so in this way, one who wants to be become liberated from this current conditioning, they must tolerate this conditioning, tolerate the difficulties. So what it means is first we have to understand what is the current condition, why we are suffering. So there is a gross body, there is a subtle body, and then there is a spiritual body. So the gross body consists of earth, water, air, fire, ether. These are the 5 gross elements. Not only human being, but all the species of life, from fish to aquatics to insects to reptiles to creepers, plants, herbs, and different types of bird, different types of animals, beasts, and then human being. All 8.4 million species, all of them has this gross body. On the earthly planet, you have gross and subtle, and then the soul is there above that. That's why Krishna is mentioning later on. Indriyani parani ahur indriyebhyam paramaha manasastu parabuddhe parasastu saha. First the body and the senses, and the next layer is the mind, intelligence, and policy. The next layer is the soul, and above that soul is super soul. In this way, there is a hierarchical. So gross, subtle, and more subtle. You cannot even see, you cannot even, so that but the presence we can feel. Later on verses are explaining about the soul, characteristics of the soul. So in this specific verse, what we have to understand is about the gross body. Just like when we are dreaming, what is happening? The mind, intelligence, positive is considered as subtle body. It is there, but we cannot perceive it. The gross body we can perceive it. So the subtle body, mind, intelligence, positive. When we are dreaming, so when we are sleeping especially, when we sleep, there is a dream. So that dream consists of so many things. Sometimes tiger killing us or whatever job. Prabhupada is giving an example. His own father was sometimes quoting the prices because he has a cloth. He is a cloth merchant. He obviously has to sell cloths at certain prices. So he was quoting while sleeping in the dream. So in this way, so the same way, the dream is there. It is the matter is real, but it is whether it's in the yesterday and whatever we are thinking in the past, in this life or previous life, those things, different objects or different things are coming up. So we have something in relation to do with that. That person or whatever that certain situations may come up. It may not be an exact situation, but the objects or the personalities, definitely we have a certain relationship with them because we have impressions in our chitta in the past lives or this life. So that's why those dreams come to us when we sleep. So obviously, so just like that, it is that dream. As soon as you wake up, that thing is gone. That whatever we are feeling, that somebody is killing us, somebody is hitting us, or somebody is stealing us, whatever, that situation, it is no more as soon as you wake up. Same way, the gross body is also in the same way, but it's a longer period. Dream when you sleep is only a shorter period, so that's why it is just a dream. We take lightly, we don't take it so seriously. But when it is a gross body, this is like a dreaming only, but this is the extended period of dreaming. But we are not realizing that, we are thinking this is permanent. And we are keep on building up our activities, keep on trying to build our case on the body and senses, all the assets and various things we are trying to build and trying to get happiness on the platform of this body. But we are not realizing this is just another dream. This is a longer dream, extended dream, and we are not realizing it's just a matter of time. This is going to finish. This is going to get finished. Just like dream is getting finished as soon as you wake up. In a few hours, sometimes in the middle of the dream, you wake up and the dream is gone completely. So same way, this is also God's body. So that's why, in order for us to, we have to realize that pact, and we have to. That means we are in unnatural condition. So that's why there is a concept in even in this IT jobs, in the jobs also, we have to go above the status quo. So that means whatever we do, same thing we are doing every life. So we should check that, we should understand why we are doing things and why we have to go through these difficulties, why we are suffering. We have to question that. And time is passing, and the difficulties are there definitely. Just like we are studying from degree, intermediate, and then when we go to the bachelor's and master's and PhD, who can study for that longer period? One who can tolerate one because otherwise it's a longer period, and you have to spend more time. You have to study carefully. More and more you go up, it requires much more intensity and time and energy and determination to study that long and pass the exams and go beyond. And that means almost 30 years, especially those who are doctor, those who are PhD, postdoc, all these, and it takes much longer period. So they have to be very determined, and they must check the status quo. Same in IT jobs, in order for us to get promoted, then you have to go beyond your duty, and you have to go much more, do higher things. And so that means same thing. We are in the unnatural condition, but we are not not asking any questions. We are just simply going on. This difficulty has come. Just it will go away in a matter of time, and then we will go on, or we will lament, or we will think, but we will never question why did this come to me in the first place. So what is our actual position? Who we are? We don't ask this question. That's why that is the biggest problem. So that's why the liberation here it is mentioned as Amrutatvaya Kalpate. Amrutatvaya Kalpate means liberation. What is liberation? Is defined as Mukti Hitva Anidharupam Swarupyana Vyavasthiti. That means giving up this temporary body and getting the spiritual body, which doesn't have any distress, which doesn't have any temporary things. Mukti Hitva Anidharupam. Current designation we have to give up. So that means we have to identify with the Satchit Ananda, we have to identify with the Supreme Lord. We have to do every activity in relation with the Supreme Lord. So not based on the body. So otherwise it is going to bring, as Hiranyakashipu is speaking to Prahlad Maharaj after he sent him to school, what did you learn? Then he immediately told that the best thing what I learned is worshipping Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu worship is the best thing, topmost thing. And then immediately became very angry. Where, rascal, where did you learn this? How did you become strong and how did you become like this? Devotee of Lord Vishnu. He said, wherever you got the power to become strong and become king or whatever, from same place I also got. But you are not realizing it, but this is true. That it's the same source. I am also getting the strength. Tatsalmani Asuravaryadeha Hitvatma Vatum Rohana Sada Samudvignadiyam Asadgraha. You have accepted impermanent as permanent, and then you are thinking that you are the king, you are the so, and we see that also example here. Specific example is given, and there is a specific situation and example in the Srimad Bhagavatam about this. Purusham Purusharshava. Purusharshava means the best among men. Arjuna has been termed as best among men. So that means when we identify this body and senses, we are constantly agitated, constant difficulties, day after day, week after week, month after month. This is bound to happen. Samudvignadya means anxiety. Because we put our mind, because as you study, then you get married, then your kids, then they study. This will never end, this will go on. That doesn't mean Krishna is telling to renounce. Krishna is telling to fight, do the duty. These difficulties, but always understand everything in the context, in relation to the Supreme Lord. Always do in the, understand the permanent thing. Understand that how to disrupt. Just like an IT job, now this AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, all these things, they call it as a disruption. Because it has completely taken away the regular jobs, because people doesn't need to be there. Machine can do once you program it. Same way, so that in that same thought, because they are seeing already, analyzing and seeing how we can change the status quo. So same way, we have to also think in that way that what is the permanent thing, what gives permanent results, permanent happiness, how I can change this temporary condition, how I can change this extended dreaming. So that way, that means every work, whatever we do every day, everything must be done in relation with Krishna, everything in the consciousness of Krishna. So that's what we see the example of also Lord Vrishabhadev is instructing his sons that don't be engrossed in this material, ephemeral material existence. Be immersed in the actual permanent happiness. Tapo divyam putraka sudhyam sudhyat brahma saukyam yanantam. You must perform austerity, you must tolerate, you must perform which will give permanent happiness. Brahma saukyam yanantam. And later on in the same chapter we see that this one of the sons out of 100 sons, Bharat Maharaj is one of the sons. He became, he went all the way to Bhava stage, from beginning stage, from Alo Siddha, Tata Sadhusango, just like we are in the current bodily state of consciousness. Once you take up the transcendental platform, which is Bhakti Yoga, by engaging our senses, our body, our mind, intelligence in Krishna service, Manasa Deho Geho, Jo Kichu More, appeal to Nanda Kishore. So when we offer our body, mind, intelligence, pranay, radhay, dhyay, vacha, in the lotus feet of Nanda Kishore, Nanda and Yashoda's son, Krishna from Vrindavan, then automatically our mind becomes peaceful, mind becomes transformed, material inabilities and all those things will become spiritual, everything. The anxieties, material anxiety becomes spiritual anxiety, everything. So we don't think on the external level, we think more internally. So, but we do perform the duties and activities. So, in that same way, Vrishabhadev's sons, they didn't renounce their duties. They became the kings. Bharat Maharaj, he ruled and then he left kingdom. Then he was somehow or other, he came all the way to Bhava stage. That means on the spiritual ecstasy level. There is the surrender to a spiritual master is called Bhajana Kriya. Then there is a stage called Nishta Ananta Nivrutti, which is the removing all the unwanted things after the initiation, after surrendering to a spiritual master. Then there is a Nishta, fixed up determination, where there is a bliss, there is a taste, and there is no simple activities at that point of time. So then we come to Nishta, to Ruchi, complete taste for the holy name and the service and everything. Then the Ruchi and Asakti, complete attachment, then Bhava, started ecstatic symptoms will be appearing in our body, in our mind. So certain symptoms, no point in discussing now, we are not at that stage. And so the Bharat Maharaj has come to that kind of stage, platform, Bhava stage. Then he was attached to the deer. So he was because the deer was alone, nobody was there. Then he was taking care, became attached, and then he left his body at the time. So then he became a deer in the next life. But he remembered everything because he was performed devotion service in his whole life. Then he next life he became a deer, but he remembered Krishna consciousness. He performed in that way. Then he gave up that body, and then he attained the Brahmana's body. Then he became Jada Bharata. So there is a conversation between the king at that time, King Rahu Gana, was people are carrying the palanquin. Then one person was missing. They were trying to find a person who can carry this palanquin. Then somebody was they found when they came to the fields in the forest. Then they saw a body. They found a person who just standing there, just like when you are growing crops to restrict these birds and other animals to not eat, we put some effigy just for the sake of it. So the same way Bharat Maharaj as Jada Bharata, he was acting as a dumb and he was acting as ignorant because he is conscious of his previous state from previous lifetimes. So Bhava stage, he fell down. So, but he remembered everything. So that's why he's acting as a madman. He's acting as a dumb. So he was, and then because before that, some of the dacoits thought that, oh, he is a stout person here, so then they took him to give Bali, to give to Kali. They took him, and then Kali rather saw that because he is a great devotee of the Lord, he was on a power stage, then actually Kali killed all those dacoits who were trying to offer him to Kali. And she became agitated. Who is this? These idiots killing my devotee. So then that's how they were killed, and then Bharat was left from there. And then he was standing like dumb person in the field to protect all the animals and birds, so nobody can care about him. She wants to avoid all the people. So that then that time this king was passing by, then they found this person. Okay, he looks like a stout person. Then they took him. Then they let him carry the palanquin as one of the servant. So as they are carrying, then during the journey, then some of the ants were there on the journey. Then he was jumping up and down and not touching them, so that because he is as a devotee, Paradukka Dukhi is always caring about in this in Valmiki's case also we see that. So as he was going by and then he was not touching the ants, he was jumping, then Maharaj Rahugana, King Rahugana became very much upset, and then he chastised his servant, what's happening here? Why are you not following my duty? Then he chastised them. Then he told, no, we are all following only because of one person. This thing is happening. We are carefully carrying only because of him. This thing is happening. Then immediately he told, then okay, so you better do it right. And then still it continued again. Then this time he became so angry. He thought as a king, he generally is in a mode of goodness, but still, Prabhupada explained, yeah, he is mode of passion. This king is mode of passion. Then he acted as on the bodily concept of life. He chastised Bharat Maharaj as, you are a fool, a rascal, I'm going to give you a punishment. You are acting like a doll. You have a stout body, you have a fat body, but you are acting like a doll and dumb. Don't you have senses? So in this way he chastised like anything. Then again and again he chastised because he's continuing to act in that way. Then at some point after he tolerated all this, he went further on, still it is continuing. Then he became so furious. Then that point, then Jada Bharata started speaking because seeing then king must be instructed. He is just trying to come to that point. So then he started instructing Maharaj Rahugana. What you are speaking is right. Those who are self-realized, they because I am not this body. Soul is not neither fat nor lean. Soul doesn't have that characteristics. So he is explaining all these various things. Very beautiful description is there. Let me read so that we understand what this actually this Purusham Purusharshava, actually how to get liberated. Very wonderful description and the details. Right. Yeah. The palanquin, however, was very erratically carried by Jadabharata due to his sense of non-violence. As he stepped forward, he checked before him every 3 feet to see whether he was about to step on ants. Consequently, he could not keep pace with the other carriers. Due to this, the palanquin was shaking. King Rahugana immediately asked the carriers, why are you carrying this palanquin unevenly? Better carry it properly. When the palanquin carriers heard the threatening words of Maharaj Rahugana, they became very afraid of his punishment and began to speak him as follows. O Lord, please note that we are not at all negligent in discharging our duties. We have been faithfully carrying this palanquin according to your desire. But this man who has been recently engaged to work with us cannot walk very swiftly. Therefore, we are not able to carry the palanquin with him. This happens also at our jobs sometimes. So many may finish the duty, some may not finish. Then obviously people will point out what's happening to their boss. So the same thing we see here. King Rahukana could understand the speeches given by the carriers who were afraid of being punished. He could understand that simply due to the fault of one person, the palanquin was not being carried properly. Knowing this perfectly well and hearing their appeal, he became a little angry, although he was very advanced in political science and was very experienced. Now you see the point. His anger arose due to his inborn nature as a king. Actually, King Rahugana's mind was covered by mode of passion. So that is the important point. So we should, in order for us to come to the mode of goodness, to above mode of ignorance and passion and come to goodness, we must take up the process of transcendence, which is chanting the holy name of the Lord in the morning and reading before starting the work, so that our senses are under control. We are acting, we can tolerate. If we don't do that, then it's very difficult to control. We will be operating on the mode of passion or ignorance. So he therefore spoke as follows to Jadabharata, whose Brahman effulgence is not clearly visible, being covered like a fire covered by ashes. King Rahugana told Jadabharata, how troublesome this is, my dear brother. You certainly appear very fatigued because you have carried this palanquin alone without assistance for a long time and for a long distance. Besides that, due to your old age, you have become greatly troubled. My dear friend, I see that you are not very firm, nor very strong and stout. Aren't you fellow carriers cooperating with you? Thereafter, when the king saw that his palanquin was still being shaken by the carriers, he became very angry and said, you rascal, what are you doing? Are you dead despite the life within your body? Do you know that I am your master? You are disregarding me and are not carrying out my order? For this disobedience, I shall now punish you, just as Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, punishes sinful people. I shall give you proper treatment so that you will come to your senses and do the correct thing. Thinking himself as a king, King Rahugana was in bodily conception and was influenced by material nature's mode of passion and ignorance. Due to the madness, he chastised Jadabharata with uncalled for and contradictory words. Jadabharata was the topmost devotee and the dear abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although considering himself very learned, king did not know about the position of advanced devotee situated in devotional service, nor did he know his characteristics. Jadabharata was the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He always carried the form of the Lord within his heart. He was a dear friend of all living beings, and he did not entertain any bodily conception. He therefore smiled and spoke the following words. So you can see that important point. That's why Shastra is telling Prahlad Maharaj in the previous discussion we were saying, Prahlad Maharaj himself has instructed that this Krishna consciousness, this path of transcendence cannot be just given by somebody. Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova Midyo Abhipatya Gruhopratanam Alanta Gobis Punascharvita Charvananam. It's very difficult. It doesn't come so easily. We cannot just transform ourselves just like that by our self-study, by somebody giving. Only it can be given by the pure devotee. So, Naisham Matistavad Urukramangam, Anartha of the what is it? Nishkinchananam Nabranite, only by Nishkinchan. By the dust of getting the Mahiyasam Padarajo Abhishekam, Nishkinchananam Nabranite. One who is completely surrendered to spiritual Supreme Lord, is the pure devotee of the Lord, is spiritual master. Only by his mercy, by the dust of his lotus feet, and here we can see Bharat Maharaj in that category. So that's why here Bharat Maharaj is the spiritual master. We will see that 3-4 chapters are there, just conversation between them. King Rahugana becomes a disciple of Jadabharat, and Jadabharat instructs him after him surrendering. There is a great conversation, very important. I recommend you all to read this. So, but we'll read this 2 or 3 more, and then we can understand the context here and relevance for this specific verse. So the great Brahmana Jadabharata said, my dear king and hero, whatever you have spoken sarcastically is certainly true. Actually, these are not simply words of chastisement. For the body is the carrier. The load carried by the body does not belong to me. For I am spirit soul. There is no contradiction in your statements because I am different from the body. I am not the carrier of the palanquin. The body is the carrier. Certainly, as you have hinted, I have not labored carrying the palanquin, for I am detached from the body. You have said that I am not stout and strong, and these words are befitting a person who does not know the distinction between the body and soul. The body may be fat or thin, but no learned man would say such things of the spirit soul. As far as the spirit soul is concerned, I am neither fat nor skinny. Therefore, you are correct when you say that I am not very stout. Also, if the object of this journey and the path leading there were mine, there would be many troubles for me. But because they relate not to me, but to my body, there is no trouble at all. You see his point of he is checking the status quo. So that's why Jadabharata is not in the condition of bodily concept of life, nor is on the subtle, neither gross nor subtle. He is acting on the completely on the platform of the soul. So that's why he is not seeing any difficulty, he is not seeing anything what king is seeing. Because king is acting on the mode of passion, is acting on the bodily concept, he could see what's happening, everything in relation. He is identifying as a king, he is identifying as a designation as a king, and with the body, is thinking he is the master, they are all servants. So in this way, we can see. And then further instruction. Fatness, thinness, bodily and mental distress, thirst, hunger, fear, disagreement, desire for material happiness, old age, sleep, attachment for material possessions, anger, lamentation, illusion, and identification of the body with the self are all transformations of the material covering of the spirit soul. A person absorbed in the material bodily conception is affected by these things. But I am free from all bodily conceptions. Consequently, I am neither fat nor skinny, nor anything else you have mentioned. My dear king, you have unnecessarily accused me of being dead, though alive. In this regard, I can only say that this is the case everywhere because everything material has its beginning and end. As far as you are thinking that you are the king and the master and are thus trying to order me, this is also incorrect because these positions are temporary. Today you are a king and I am your servant, but tomorrow the position may be changed and you may be my servant and I am your master. These are the temporary circumstances created by providence. That is true. And many times in job also this can happen. So the person who is reporting to his boss, then it could happen also. But it's not frequently, it doesn't happen. But that can happen. When our superior boss leaves or something else, then one of our colleague becomes boss also, and it's a more difficult situation that makes. Because until that point, he was not a master. Then suddenly, those who doesn't have much qualification becomes a master. Then you can imagine the situation, what we have to face so much, because that false ego and so many things will come into picture, enviousness and politics. It's even more difficult in those situations. My dear king, if you still think that you are the king and I am your servant, you should order me and I should follow your order. I can then say that this differentiation is temporary and it expands only from usage or convention. I do not see any other cause. In that case, who is the master and who is the servant? Everyone is being forced by the laws of material nature. Therefore, no one is master and no one is servant. Nonetheless, if you think that you are the master and I am your servant, I shall accept this. Please order me. What can I do for you? My dear king, you have said, you rascal, you dull, you crazy fellow, I am going to chastise you. And then you will come to your senses. In this regard, let me say that, although I live like a dull, deaf, and dumb man, I am actually a self-realized person. What will you gain by punishing me? If your calculation is true and I am a madman, then your punishment will be like beating a dead horse. There will be no effect. So when a madman is punished, he is not cured of his madness. So in this way, so it is beautiful details. So in this way we understand now that from this specific verse that how the king Rahugana and the Jadabharata is instructing King Rahugana. We are in this Rahugana situation We are operating on the bodily designation, gross or subtle body, and operating on the three modes of material nature. And we are constantly going through these difficulties and struggles and anxieties on the bodily concept of life. So here Jadavarta instructing, this is not permanent. Don't attach, don't assign all these things to the soul. Soul doesn't have this fat or skinny or the king or a master or servant. All these designations are this to the body, to the temporary. Yeah, like in a dream, you may be having a designations, or you may be killing, you may be doing so many things, but that is just temporary. And then same thing is happening with the gross body of extended dream. We're acting, taking up different designations, performing different activities. So that's why we must tolerate. That doesn't mean it is a false. It is temporary. But we must perform our duty. This is what Krishna is instructing Arjuna. And further it is mentioned, this is asat. This is impermanent. As in the next verse we see that na vidyate bhavo nasate sataha. So sat and asat. And Krishna is explaining that the example is being given like a cloud and sky. And also the example is also given, we have to understand when we are in unnatural condition, when in the ocean or a river, there are huge floods or in the ocean waves, nobody can withstand. Even if you put a great elephant, strong elephant is generally very strong. It can carry heavy loads and it can fight even the lions and everything else run away. But even if you put elephant or strong boat with so much wind or water in the ocean, heavy winds are going on in the ocean, nobody can sustain. But even a small fish can sustain. How is that so? But nobody else can sustain because it is in a natural position. So fish can sustain. Even the anti-current also it can go very natural because it is taking shelter of the ocean. That's why. So that's why we must take shelter of the Supreme Lord instead of taking shelter of. We have to take shelter of Supreme Lord or His representative. That's what we have to do. That's why the pure devotee, taking shelter of the pure devotee is very important. By their shelter, that's why Krishna mentioned in 7th chapter. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya dhoteya. If you take shelter of these three modes of material, you take shelter of your own body, take shelter of your subtle body, mind and intelligence, then you don't depend on the Shastra, neither you depend on the. So that's why if you want to study, maybe 10th or intermediate somehow you can study at home and pass. But if you need to study bachelor's or master's or PhD, then we must study under somebody. You have to attend the school or college, or you have to take a teacher, you have to study. Individually, it cannot happen. So that requires more intensity and more one-on-one coaching and of things. Same way for spiritual subject matter, so many years we practice to finish, come to the PhD or masters. Same way, so in order for us to follow the path of transcendence, we have to really put our efforts and practice this. Regularly, day after, not like a once in a week or once in a month I'll do this and the rest of the time I'll do my own activities. Then it's not going to happen. That means you do one thing good and then you do 9 other things bad, then it's not going to help us. Then anxiety will keep on increase. It doesn't decrease. So that's why more we get rid of the unwanted simple activities, religious activities, then we will be able to move further, transcend these modes. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible because you keep on as your people are going to church and asking for bread and committing simple activities, again coming and confessing, which is not going to help. So that's why it's very important to know here what is Sat and what is Asat. So we are giving the Prabhupada is giving the example of sun and a cloud. The sun is there and the sky and cloud. The sky is permanent, even it's temporary in the material world concept. But for us to take an example, sky is there always, but the cloud is coming, appearing and disappearing. So cloud is created by what? Sun. Sun is evaporating the water in the ocean, and then that becomes gas, and that forms a cloud. Sometimes it is covering, cloud itself is covering the sun and the sky itself. You cannot even see the sun at the time. But the sky is permanent and then cloud disappears. Same way, so this temporary, the sky is permanent but the cloud is temporary. Same way, this temporary material body, we are changing this body from one body to another body. The cells are changing within this current body, and again we will take up another body. So it is not permanent, and we should tolerate that. So that's what here Krishna is mentioning. Na asato bhava. There is no endurance to the body. There is no permanent. This bank balance will not stay. Neither our car nor our home. In next life, nothing is going to stay permanent. It is only for a temporary period. We may bring because of your past activities. We are getting that. And so that's why we shouldn't become attached to these things. Rather, we use it in Krishna service, then naturally, then that doesn't create anxiety. More we try to use things in our own for our own pleasure, then it becomes a great attachment, and also it brings great anxiety, great fear. So there's a Vetaraga Vaikrodha Manamam Upasata Bhavo Gnana Tapasa Potama Madbhav Agata. So Vetaraga Vaikrodha, because of the constant attachment, constantly using for our own pleasure, thinking this is mine, everything is mine. So my family is also mine, my money, my car, my home, everything is mine, then that causes a great fear. Because the minute you lose certain things, then what we are attached to, then immediately that causes fear. But as soon as we are thinking, this is not my home, this is Krishna's home, this is Krishna has given this body, this is Guru's body, this is for serving Guru, this is serving Lord, this body belongs to him, then we will not feel that so much anxiety. Especially if somebody gives, if you are in difficulty, somebody assures you that I will take care of you, don't worry. I'll take care of you, I'll pay you, I'll give you the food, everything, you don't need to worry, you just do what I instruct. Then we will be very much relieved. The same way, so Krishna is instructing that. Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam saranam vraja. Take shelter of me, then I will assure you, I will take away all your sinful activity. Whatever you have committed on the path till now, everything I will take it away. But we don't have the conviction. So that's why Krishna has to give all this knowledge, all the 18 chapters. Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita can be done just with that one verse. Just surrender unto me, that's it. Your life is finished. Everything can be, I will take care of it. So that's why Krishna has to instruct about the tattva. That's why here in this verse, 16th verse, Krishna is explaining that tattva, those who are the seers of the truth, they have, after studying, after realizing it, they have concluded this, that there is no endurance to this body. There is no permanent things. Whatever we may do, beautify this body, nothing is permanent. But the soul is permanent. So Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So that's why we should do everything in relation with the soul and super soul. Otherwise, the body is being carried out. As it mentioned, it's like a machine. How long machine can survive? Whether you take a car or aeroplane or any machine, how long it can survive? It can get rusted, or it can go maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years. After that, it cannot run longer. So even homes also. So we see so many homes dilapidated after a few years. So that's how it is. This is all matter cannot stay such a long period of time. So that's why Iswara Sarvabhutana Uddesha Brahmayate Sarvabhutana Yantrarudhani Maya. Yantrarudha means material nature is giving Karya Karana Kartutve. What is it? I forget. So Purusham Prakrustoi. So because of our material activities, Prakriti, material nature is giving this material body. So there is two types of living entities. There are eternally liberated living Nitya Siddha, and there are eternal conditioned Nitya Baddha. So we are coming under this Nitya Baddha, conditioned living entities. Just like we see that how many people who are going to follow the rules and who are not following the rules. In any state, any country, we see that there is a prison houses. Those who doesn't want to follow the rule, they are being put into prison house. So those are called Nitya Baddha. Those who want to always follow the rules, most of them. So that's why in spiritual world, 3/4 is spiritual world, 1/4 is material world. So the most of the living and 3/4 of the living entities are eternally liberated. They never become conditioned because they always understand that everything belongs to Krishna. By serving him, I am getting the eternal happiness. I don't need to become the master. By simply serving him, You understand everything. So, but the others, those who doesn't, why should I do this? Let me try. Let me do my own thing. I have separate desire. Let me do separately, separate from them. Let me become independent. That's why Icha and Dvesha. Otherwise, why will he go to prison house? Because he is thinking, I shouldn't do the same thing what all these people are doing. I should do something different. So Icha and Dvesha, separate desire from the Lord, and Desha, enviousness, so from the Lord. So that's why that then material nature is forcing us to bring us here, because this is where you can do whatever you like. If you want to do that, you continue to do that till that time you will be in this prison house. This material world is called prison house. So that's what we have to understand. Material nature is forcing us to take up this. The minute we are thinking that we want to become the master, we want to enjoy separately from the Lord, then that's when we are being conditioned. So, but rather liberation is nothing but when we give up this condition and we attain, just like the diseased person. When the diseased person takes the medicine of this chanting the holy name of the Lord and following the Sravanam and Kirtanam, so actually those are the recommended process under Bhakti Yoga in this age, then naturally they can be liberated. So that liberated state, they can give up this gross body, subtle body, and they can attain spiritual body. But it requires intensity, it requires patience, determination, and enthusiasm. It requires long practice, 30, 40 years, whole life. That's why we shouldn't wait that let me finish everything, let me finish my job, let me get arrange marriage to my kids and education. Then I will take up this. No, that's too late. At that time, nothing will work. Neither our senses or body or mind, nothing will work. At that time, too late. Because without practicing, you cannot pass the exam. We haven't passed that exam like that in our own material education. So how will we do it in spiritual thing? That is even more complicated, more difficult, because of our absorption after many lifetimes in this yantra, rudha, and maya, taking up different bodies as a machine, entering into different machines, different bodies, and performing various activities. Then we are always seeing how beautiful this body is. Like we are absorbed to this car, that car. So many cars we are changing, and same way we are changing these bodies lifetime after lifetime. We are getting attached to it. We are not realizing whether it's not going to be permanent. So that's why Krishna is instructing here by these verses. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna, nothing is permanent, you just perform your duty, because you taking shelter of me and performing duty is not going to give you, actually you will get liberated. This has been concluded by those who are Tattvadarshis, those who have studied the Shastra, understood and realized the Shastra, then they are concluding this. So he is not telling I am telling this. This is Tattvadarshi. Krishna is quoting also the great personalities. So in this way we understand that we have to follow the path of transcendence, go above beyond the modes, especially the mode of passion, mode of ignorance. That means we have to control our senses, which is especially the sleep. We have to control. We have to control our urges, especially the eating habits, sleeping habits, and especially unwanted things. We have to give up. So as per the instructions from Shastra, then we will be able to come to the this permanent happiness. Then we will be able to liberate slowly and gradually. We can become liberated from the various sense attachment, bodily attachment. Finally, we will attain the spiritual body. That's why in liberation there are 5 conditions. Otherwise, people are, as Shastra is explaining, that those who are performing fruitive activity, they are thinking Akasha Puspayate. Okay. Akasha Puspayate means it is like a phantasmagoria. You are going in the air, in the sky, you cannot get flowers or fruits, anything. So there will not be. That's what the fruitive activity, those performing, they are thinking, oh, let me nicely perform these pious credits and do some charity work. I will become nice. I can enter into heavenly planets, because people have this conception going in Google or seeing a movie. The heaven means it is permanent. No, it is not permanent. It is maybe 1,000 years or 2,000, 10,000 years, 100,000. That's it. After that, we again get this body, or they are not even human body maybe. We may get enter into, just like Indra from a whale became a hog. So that can also happen. There is no guarantee that a human body is going to come. Only those who are performing Krishna conscious activity, then for them Krishna is guaranteeing them you can enter, you can get a human body. One-off cases may be there, but still at least you will remember your past. In that case, Indra Kunti realized they are calling back. Hey, your duration is up. You are supposed to come back, but he was attached to his sons and daughters, piglets. Then Brahma has to shake him up, and then finally he has come. So that is the situation. Even as you go up higher planets, then those who are yogis, they are thinking they are trying to get some mystic powers. They are trying to control the senses through meditation or some Kundalini yoga. All these are temporary only. None of them is going to bring permanent happiness. None of them is going to take us to the spiritual world. That means Sarupya, Salokya, Sarsti, Samipya, which means close to the Lord or same form as the Lord, like a four-handed form of Lord Vishnu, or same opulence as the Lord, same planet as the Lord. These are the kinds of liberation. One liberation is Sahajya Mukti. That Vaishnavas are not interested. That means merging under the Supreme Lord. That is merging into Brahman effulgence. Then that means that is not permanent. Again, we will fall down to this material world. That's not the liberation. But anyway, the devotees, pure devotees, are not even interested in any liberation. So, because they are interested only for the service, love for the Lord and service, they are not doing any business. They don't want anything in return. They only want नदनं न जनं न सुंदरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामय मम जन्म जन्म भवतात् भक्ति अहैतु कीतयि. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is praying, I don't want any wealth or beautiful woman, nothing, no, not even liberation. Even liberation is kicked out. They don't want even liberation. They just want service and the love for the Lord. So that's what will take us back to the spiritual where this Sakya, Vatsalya, all these three main rasas out of Shanta Dasya. 12 rasas are there, mellows. The three main rasas are this friendship, parent and child, relationship, like Yashoda and Krishna, which is the right now Damodar month is starting from tomorrow. Where Yashodama is binding Krishna with her love and affection. Same way, so because of her intense love, Krishna wants to be bound. Krishna wants to be controlled by his devotees. That's why Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya has much more prominence. That is only in Golok Vrindavan. Sakya means friendship. Krishna can carry others, their friends on his, on his back. But he cannot expect that in the rest of the Vaikuntha planets. So like that, all these higher rasas are there. Once you go there, you will never come back. Because once you are in that, have that full bliss, that every day, every minute, there are different activities, so much variety, then why will you come back to this kind of conditioned state of this, where so many difficulties and temporary happiness? So that's why we have to understand this tattva and understand this highest thing is available by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and by taking the path of this chanting the holy name of the Lord, this can make it easy. He made it easy. When Krishna appeared, he didn't, even though he mentioned Sarvadharma Parityajya, but he didn't make it so easy. Especially Krishna Prema was not given so easily. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally has come to give Krishna Prema very easily, without looking at qualification. Simply by chanting the holy name, that's why it is mentioned, Gaura Udyana, this garden of garden of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, one who was entered into the garden of Mahaprabhu's path, Mahaprabhu's process, then Gaura Udyana, Gaura Mega, under the clouds of Mahaprabhu, then Sinchan Alokana Amrutai, the ocean drops of the water, when the living entities are suffering in this, what is Bhava Dhavagni Janata, the living entities suffering in this fire of material existence, by simply getting the water drops from the ocean of mercy of the Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Sinchan Alokana by the nectar drops coming from the Gauranga Mahaprabhu, then automatically we are getting Virudam Samajiyati. So automatically we are become liberated from this current conditioning. So only by the mercy of Sri Krishna appearing in the form of a devotee, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his mercy we can become, it becomes very easier, very easy to get the highest thing. Yes, you can worship Lord Narayan also, Lakshmi Narayana, or you can worship Sitaram, other forms also. You can worship God following certain other any spiritual master, any path who is giving God realization, how to develop love of God. You can follow that. There is no problem. But if you want to get highest, the Krishna prema, the highest process, especially the Sakya Vatsalya, the highest process, then there is only one way is by especially following the path given by the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna himself is direct. Only Krishna can give Krishna Prema. Nobody else, no other personality can give this Krishna Prema, especially the highest level, Sakya Vatsalya Madhuri. Not master servant. There is no master servant in Golok Vrindavan. That is there, the rest of the Vaikuntha planets. So that means he is master, and so that's why we see that in Brahad Bhagavatamrita, where Gopa Kumar, another living entity, he went to all the planets. He went all the way from heavenly planets to Brahma planet, everywhere. He was not happy. He was changing his position, getting to his position, but he was not happy, moving up. And finally, he also went to Vaikuntha, where he was a master and servant relation. He was not happy. Then again, he came back to earthly planet. And again, he came back to this material world. Then again, he went into next Ayodhya also. Mahavishnu himself is told, you are not happy here, so I think you should go to the Ayodhya Dham. Then there also he was not happy. And then he came back to the material. Then again he went to the Golok Vrindavan. Then there he was satisfied. This is explained in Brahad Bhagavatamrita, written by one of our great Acharya, Sanatana Goswami, who is the direct disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the spiritual world, is one of the associates of Srimati Radharani. So, which is Radha and Krishna. So in that volume 1, 2, 3, where Narada is searching for who is the greatest devotee, is Brahma, Shiva, Prahlad Maharaj, Pandavas, Hanuman. In this way, one by one, telling no, they are the greatest, they are the greatest. In this way, one by one, telling the previous person. Finally, the highest devotee, the topmost devotees are gopis of Vrindavan, the cohort damsels of Vrindavan. They are the highest, greatest devotees, pure devotees of the Lord. So everybody is pointing to Uddhava, and then Uddhava finally pointing to gopis of Vrindavan. That is the volume 1. And volume 3 is explaining that how this Gopakumar is going through different planets from material world and the spiritual world. So from this example, we can clearly see that it is absolute truth, and it is the highest thing is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then we can relish. Once we enter into the highest planet and highest rasa, then we can never come back. We can never want to taste any lower modes, lower things. We naturally, because we haven't developed higher taste, then we are attached to all this. It is becoming a bondage. But once we develop the higher taste, we taste the higher things, then we don't taste. So that we see that once you taste something, you taste a nice restaurant outside, then why will you go to the restaurant where who doesn't properly offer good things? Obviously, you will never go. Same way, so we haven't really understood the tattva, the philosophy, and the rasa, the relationship with the Supreme Lord. So that's why we are really not realizing, not attached, not able to give up these material, this gross bodily attachment or the subtle attachments, this dreaming or extended dreaming, we are not able to give up. So with that, we'll stop here. Any questions? Any questions on the Google Meet?
No questions, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let me.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
One question. Quick question, Prabhuji. Very nice class, Prabhu. My question is, you were saying like how we need to have patience and execute devotional service for many, many years so that our consciousness is fixed while patiently executing our devotional service, right? sometimes that patience, it's like what do you say? It's a little bit hard to sometimes develop patience. You are so eager at the same time because Lauliam is very important to achieve Krishna Prema. It's not achieved, it's like basically given to you by the causeless mercy of Guru and Krishna. So one should have this Lauliam or greed to get that. So at the
Correct.
same time, you need to have patience also. So if you could just elaborate on those two things. Thank you.
Yeah. So the question is how we can develop more patience and then how we can develop greed. So the process obviously is the same as Mahaprabhu is giving. Instruction is to chant the holy name of the Lord as much as possible with purity, that means without offenses, and then also hear with a more rapt attention, and also having that enthusiasm to worship the deity and serve the devotees more and more. And the more we grab their taste and the more we grab their what do you call the qualities, because associating with them and hearing from those who are developed attachment and they are in that mood, the consciousness, the rasa with the Supreme Lord, then automatically we also get that rasa, that qualities. So we can see that from in Srimad Bhagavatam many examples, and we will also see as just like Bhakti Vedanta is as instructed Narada Muni, simply by tasting the remnant, by serving, then naturally he became, initially he was a little bit sportive and all, but once he surrendered, once he heard the instructions, once he tasted the remnants of their Mahaprasad, then he became, naturally became mature more and more. He became tolerant and patient. But it's a constant practice. One day, so even if we become impatient, that means more we have to read and hear regularly. So then automatically, naturally by the practice, we will get that patience. It is not a one day thing. It requires time. We have to give time, and difficulties will come. And we shouldn't become impatient. We should tolerate. So that's why more we hear from Prabhupada, more we read Prabhupada books and purports, then naturally we'll come to that. Because especially in the morning, if you can do that, then it is giving a already hint for that day. Dose is being given. Just like if somebody has a medicine, has a problem, as a disease or some particular condition, there is a prescription in the morning itself you should take. Then the whole day your migraine or your whatever that condition is, then you are relaxed or relieved from that particular conditioning. Same way, if you don't take the medicine of chanting and hearing in the morning itself, then the rest of the day operating on the mode of patience, passion, and ignorance, then we cannot tolerate things. We cannot operate in the mode of goodness. So that's why by spending the time from 4:30 or 4, but it's not easy because there are so many duties in the Grihastha ashram. So it requires time. It requires time management. It requires the greatest challenge, especially for Matajis, those who are in Grihastha, it's even more tough. They may have to do more duties, other things, take care of things. So, but somehow, but slowly and gradually, those who have small kids, it's even more tough because you have to take care of more duties are there. So, but you can do multitasking. You can connect the lectures and hear while doing those activities. So that way, it always we are absorbed. The impressions are there as the transcendental sound is coming. So it makes us think in relation with Krishna, makes us to be calm, peaceful, satisfied. So then naturally we will be not impatient or intolerant. Otherwise, it's very tough to be to especially to take care of the kids and do the duties and not become angry or frustrated or become impatient. It's yes, it's a tough situation, but it's by practice. As Krishna has mentioned, abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa manigam. And we see that in Naradamuni's case also he practiced a lot. So by constant hearing and constant absorption, and then we see that also in Gaur also many devotees, whether it's Raghunath Das Goswami, he didn't get agitated. He told, because he met Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu instructed him, don't that I want to leave home. He has a nice home, nice wife, and he has a lot of money. his father is a rich man. They don't want his, especially his father doesn't want him to leave. His wife doesn't want to leave his family and go renounce. But he was ready to renounce. Then Mahaprabhu told, no, go back and perform your activity in such a way that nobody should think that you want to run away. Then time will come, I will instruct you. So then finally, as time has come after a few years, then Lord Nityananda Prabhu, by his mercy, then gradually the situation has changed, and but until that point he was tolerated. Okay, he couldn't, he was not impatient and he didn't give up, but he was waiting for that time. So we see that in many examples throughout the cases, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed many devotees, even Venkata Bhatta also, when he came to Ranganath, Srirangam, then Venkata Bhatta's son became later on Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. He also wanted to go. Mahaprabhu was there almost 1 month or 4 months. Chaturmasa period, he stayed in that house. And then his son was so attached, seeing the beauty of Mahaprabhu instructions and chanting, dancing. Then he was so much attached, he wanted to give away, leave his father, and then he wants to go with Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu instructed no. Then he kept him there only. He wanted him to study and all that. Then Mahaprabhu later on, then we see that Raghunath Bhatta Goswami comes later on to meet Mahaprabhu. So in this way, so we see, so that's why it requires patience, it requires following the instructions of spiritual master, following the instructions of Shastra and devotees, those who are attached to Krishna, then naturally, then by that following that instruction, the Guru's mercy is there, the advanced devotee's mercy is there, and Prabhupada's mercy will come, and Nityananda Prabhu's mercy will come. By that, we will be able to tolerate. Otherwise, it's very difficult. The preaching is also very difficult, most difficult task. So how can we explain? It is very difficult to explain, difficult to transform one person into a devotee. It's very, very difficult, the topmost, the greatest difficulty. You can convert hundreds of people and get them jobs, but to make one person devotee, to make them understand this highest conception, highest level of consciousness, it's very difficult, because it's so much absorption is there for many lifetimes. Material knowledge, it can be easily given. You spend a few hours or a few months, and somehow you can get that job, you can get that education and knowledge, and you can pass the exam. But spiritual knowledge is not like that. They must be serious, they must be enthusiastic, they must pay attention to the detail, and they must practice. If they don't practice, even though they may be serious, if they don't practice, means they cannot give up sinful activities. They cannot give up that impermanent things, that tuchya shakti, which means small things. We cannot give up watching TV, we cannot give up small onion garlic, we cannot give up coffee tea, we cannot give up small things, biting the nails, it could be anything, uncleanly behavior, so many things, small petty things only we are attached, because we are constantly following that many lifetimes. To give up in one lifetime, it's very difficult. Very difficult. Every person is different, every person is coming with a different family, different baggage, so different attachment, different ideas, thoughts, and different behaviors. So it's very difficult. And the association, which is causing even more difficult, making it even more difficult, aggravating the situation even more. So that's why it is very difficult. The person has to be strong. Individually, person has to be strong to follow these things despite having these attachments. But if he sincerely follows the instruction and try to implement one by one, slowly, gradually, without creating chaos in the family situation, then naturally we will be able to come out of those. We can give up easily these activities, what Shastra is telling not to do. Otherwise, people, you can see as devotees also, they want to watch cricket, they want to play cricket, they want to do this, they want to do that. But Shastra you will not find. Prabhupada never told to, because what is the instruction, what are we going to learn by watching cricket? So you can watch many lifetimes we watch. What did we learn? Nothing much to learn. Yes, if you want to watch something, learn something, positive things, and implement something in your life, yes, you can do that. But those days are gone. We are not so young. Still, we are not in a 25, 27, or less than 30 years, where you can still do that. Because more you wait, more you think that I'm young, I can do, then that means we are not understanding what is the permanent thing. Our father has died, our forefathers have died, we are also going to pass this life, another body, another machine. What are we going to do about it? So that's what we have to question the status quo. Until we question the status quo, until we introspect, until we put those thought provoking things, then it's not going to change. So, time management will be a big issue. Time, we will not get time otherwise. So, naturally, then Krishna will arrange that actually your job, your things will manifest automatically. Otherwise, it is not possible. Because material nature is forcing. The consciousness, the desires, accordingly, material nature is forcing the living entity. You will get more tasks from the manager. You will get more and more work so that you get caught up. Because that is the desires is causing that. When we have sincere desires to be aligned with Krishna's or Guru's desires, Shastra's desires, then naturally Krishna is arranging the situation to be gradually changing, where things are much better, conducive to spiritual activities, conducive for transformational activities. So that's what it means. So that's why aligning desires is very important. At least theoretically, we should have that process, thought process. Otherwise, it's very difficult. The practice, that's why that requires thought process, desire, starting with desire, then requires practice, then slowly and gradually. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Agitation is always there. So that's why Prabhupada is straightforward. That's why you see transformation. When Prabhupada is instruction, you see all his classes. People cannot accept. Many people may not like Prabhupada classes because he is very strong. Because he knows. Because he wants cut the body, gross, subtle, right into the soul. He wants to inject the transformation into the soul. Obviously, he has to cut. Obviously, he has to be strong. He cannot be so make it so easily, nicely, tell something attractive and make it palatable and presentable. Yes, he does so with love and care, palatable definitely, but he will not make the situation very nice and rosy. No, Prabhupada never does that. So that's why he could transform so many souls, because that's what we have to understand. So otherwise, many people may not like. Many people want to hear the nicely jokes and comedy, all these things. But how much transformation are you going to get by reading all this comedy? So that's what you have to realize. So only when you read Prabhupada book, then you realize what is the whom to hear, whom not to hear. What books you have to read, what books you are not supposed to read, and what is authorized, what is not authorized. Until we read Prabhupada books, we will not know what is right, what is not right. We will not know. We can spend our whole life, but it is very difficult to transform because it requires real, genuine transformation quality, and that's Prabhupada has it. And you can examine against any other personality in the whole world what Srila Prabhupada has done. Nobody can come close to it. So because of that heavy intensity, you can see how much he tolerated when he is distributing back to God magazine. At the age of almost, I think, 55 or 60 something, above 60. He was coming from Vrindavan without having much money, traveling all the way in the train, and then coming to close to Delhi or so, and then he's printing the paper, and then distributing that on the hot sun, person to person, distributing, and is getting only few paisa. And again going back, again doing. So long he has done this. And any other person you think in that situation, we cannot even sustain. We will not have any tolerance. So that's why we have to remember what Prabhupada has done. Then we know what he has done. Such an exalted soul, he has done that. So who are we? How can we not tolerate? So that's why we should never become impatient. In our preaching, we can never become impatient in our practices, because by remembering what Srila Prabhupada has done, so we should think that we are so minute. If he has done that, so by carrying his instructions, we should also do our part and be patient, be tolerant, we try to execute his instructions, try to listen to him, try to follow his guidance in his books, then naturally, by our practice and sincere endeavor, then naturally mercy will come from Prabhupada. He will constantly will guide us. He is there through Vani. So then that will really make us transformative in our life. Life becomes transformational. And we will see that without nobody needs to tell us where we are situated. We can see ourselves, the results. Phalayana parichyate. We can see results. To the degree we are detached, we will be able to see the results ourselves. So then automatically we will become tolerant. So that's what I can say. So it's not easy. The theoretical is one thing, but when it comes to practice, it's a difficult task. So, any other question, Mataji? Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Wonderful answer.
Okay, we'll stop here. 9:37 already late. So tomorrow onwards, Damodar month is starting officially. Purnima to Purnima, October 31st, Saturday to November 29th. Very important days are there, especially Uttana Ekadasi, where Mahavishnu is waking up after 4 months of Chaturmasa. That is the most important Ekadasi. The couple of Ekadasi are very important. Uttana Ekadasi, Mokshada Ekadasi, Vaikuntha Ekadasi, 3 or 4 out of all the Ekadasi. Even Ekadasi itself is very auspicious. Out of that, Uttana Ekadasi is even more auspicious. There are a few other things. Prabhupada's appearance day is there, November 18th, Wednesday. Then you have Radha Kund appearance is there, I think the first coming Sunday, and then Govardhan Puja is there, and Diwali is there. Diwali, we shouldn't celebrate like firecrackers or something as a festival to enjoy, but rather we should understand what Lord Ramachandra has done, what that Diwali means, what really it means in our life, what we need to change. That's what each festival has a specific significance and instructions behind. So that's what we will learn, and we will try to speak the Govardhan Puja Leela. So on that specific day, I think not this coming Sunday, 2 weeks after, I think November 14th or 15th, something like that. I think 15th Sunday is Govardhan Puja, very very important day, because Krishna himself has become Govardhan and he has given the mercy to all the Brajvasis. 7 days he was there with them, very close association. So we can also come to that level. We can also get that mercy. It is not impossible. It is a matter of understanding that Leela and going deep within. So that's why take this month very critical month. So do a sankalpa tonight or today within your mind in front of the picture, deity. If you don't have, then you do it in the mind. Taking the strength and mercy of the Lord to follow certain process, certain vrata, that means chanting, hearing, reading, whatever you can do. Not everybody at the same level. So whatever within your limits and capacity in your situation, you can try to follow and take that sankalpa and then follow it throughout this month. November 29th is the last day. Then again you finish the sankalpa and offer everything back to Supreme Lord. So thanking him for giving the energy and strength to follow it. In this way, when we do that practice, every day will become a festival for us. So it requires a couple of years practice like that. Then naturally we will be very blissful and happy every day. No anxiety, no yes, anxiety will be there, but for the Supreme Lord, anxiety will be there to how to carry out more and more, how to become more and more absorbed. That anxiety will be always be there. That is spiritual anxiety, which is a good thing. But material anxiety will not be there, because we know that Krishna is going to take care of those situations. So that's why we will not have that so much of material anxiety. So that will stop here.